G'day guys, how are we all? Hope we're all doing well. Pick some locks and you know it. Don't forget to even hashtag it, keep it bloody legal. So, those of you that follow me on Twitter and that, you know that I ordered and to watch the live stream, I ordered a Lishi key cutter. And it arrived. And it's a bit annoyed in a way because it goes to show how good the postal service is. The actual case that came in got smashed. Big chunk of plastic come out of it. So, I mean, yeah, it's just a case. It's not that good of a case. It's just thin plastic, bloody rubbishy, hard case kind of thing to try and keep it all from getting scratched and thrown around and beaten up and abused in the toolbox or whatever. But I ended up buying this just because I saw it and I thought, oh, that'd be bloody cool and it'll come in handy. And to have a play around with it. So I paid $35 for the Lishi key cutter off of AliExpress. I've looked at eBay. I actually ordered one off eBay about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and it got marked as posted and stuff like that. When I contacted them saying, you know, why does it mark as postage? And you gave me a tracking number that doesn't work and none of this stuff worked. They said, oh, sorry, we made a mistake and never got sent. Anyway, ended up getting the money back as a pain in the butt. But a lot of bloody hassle. So anyway, bought this one for $35. Couldn't help myself for that price. Who wouldn't? And after me, it is actually pretty handy. I went and bought a little pencil case. And I'll show you why. I'm actually taking this into work this afternoon. So I'm going to copy a key that's at work for the paper towel dispensers. I've just ordered some. I just got the blanks in that I ordered from Dr. Lock for it. So, the Lishi key cutter itself is actually quite a handy. It's probably the cheapest key cutter that you can get your bloody hands on. You can cut to code if you're very careful, and you can, you know, work out your coding with a micrometer. I don't actually have one on me at the moment. But you know how you work out your thicknesses. If you know all your codes, you can actually score your key carefully with it to cut to code, you know, working out your depths. Also, with the lines on here, if you can actually work out, you know, what your depths are for wafer keys mainly. This thing will do car keys, it will do house keys, and it will do wafer keys and stuff like that. So it cuts a nice variety of, you know, your standard wafer and pin tumbler keys that we get here. Is it perfect for duplicating? Not really, but in a pinch it will bloody work. You know, to actually duplicate a key. And I've actually cut a couple. When Don's was here, I was showing him. So I actually cut 2 keys. One of them to one of the padlocks that he actually brought round when I showed him. And it doesn't do too bad of a job of duplicating a key. It's not the best. It takes a little bit of work to make sure it's perfect. And I also did one for the quick set smart keys that I've got here. I ended up duplicating it onto just an LW4 key. So it will actually, it works nice and bloody smooth. It really does. So I ended up duplicating that and I'll show you how I did that in a second. So, you know, it doesn't work too bad. I'm actually quite impressed with this. For $35, it's definitely going to come in handy. But as you know, I've got a key cutting machine, so why would I want one of these? Well, I wanted it for emergency key cutting and for wafer keys, because it's a pain in the butt to set up and get the big key machine running just to cut a wafer key or duplicate a little front door wafer, you know, security wafer key and stuff like that. So that's why I ended up buying this. So to complement this and actually do the key cutting, I also went down to Supercheap and bought a mini pair of vice grips. So I bought a little pair, and that comes in handy when you do key duplicate using the Lishi key cutter. And also got a little wire brush in there just to buff the keys, make sure they're nice and smooth. So when I said you can actually duplicate a key with this, you can. It's a very slow method of doing it. Compared to, you know, stuffing it in the key machine going and it's all done. This is a bit slower, and you know, the actual cutting width on this key cutter is very, very small. As I said, it's designed for wafer locks, not for house keys or big locks. So if you are going to duplicate a house key, you want to make sure when you do the cuts, you can't just do the one. You're actually going to have to do one cut and then two cuts to give you your right spacing for it, and to make sure that all your slopes and everything on the keys are actually nice and even, so that when you slide the key in, it will slide in and out, and those pins can actually ride on the slopes very, very easily. So when it comes to duplicating a key using this, I'm just going to use these two here just to show you. I won't bore you by going actually through and cutting a key. So what I did was I took my original key and my blank, and I put them both together very, very carefully, lining everything up. And I actually used the corner of my desk, but we'll say this here, so I can line up the shoulder stops, make sure they're both flat and even. And I'll take my vice grips and I clamp them together. Let's loosen this one off, so make sure they're absolutely perfect, because even the slightest bit out there isn't going to work exactly right. So you make sure that they're both perfectly flush, perfectly aligned, your flat, your blank, and I'm just going to do the edge of the bench here. So your blank and your original key. These are completely different keys, so it's not going to work. But make sure they're both perfectly aligned with your shoulder if you're using a shoulder stop, or the tips, and make sure that the bottoms of your keys are perfectly flat as well. Then you want to make sure that you actually have them facing the same way, and put the flat side of your key, the flattest side, onto the base of your key cutter. So that way when you actually cut, you're not going to misshapen or warp or bend the key, which this can do because it's punch. So it's actually punching through the metal, and it can bend your key just slightly and deform it, which means your cuts aren't going to be exact either. So I actually did that with these two keys. I did a duplication of a key using this method, make sure they're all aligned. Then say that's your blank at the back here, you have your original key at the front. You then go and line up your key cutter, your Lishi key cutter, push it right in to the depth of your pre-cut key, and then make sure she's perfectly flush and pushed up against there as tight as you can get it, and then make your cut. Now you want to do one side, as I said, one side and then the other side, just to make sure that you actually get your gaps perfect and all your slants and everything right. And then work your way through. The other tip I can give you, so you don't go busting up your key cutter, don't use those cheap Chinese steel keys that you can buy really, really cheap, because they will just destroy these. You're better off with brass. And take little nips at a time. Don't try and, if you've got a massive deep cut, don't try and take that first bang and cut all that out. It will damage and blunt your cutter very, very quickly. So you want to take little nibbles out as you go down. So if you've got a very deep cut, say a 9 depth on a LW4 key, you don't want to go right down to there. You want to take a couple of cuts, 2 to 3 cuts to actually go down to the depth of the 9 cut, to make sure that you're not damaging this. And once all that's done, you have, you copy it all the way across, test it in the lock, give it a turn. If it's a little bit, sticky still, just try and have a look and make sure that they're all even. You might have a little bit of a burr in the center in between your 2 cuts, so you might just need to nip that down or hand file it, just take a burr out. Because the slightest bit off, as you know, it's not going to work in the lock properly. So, you go through, do all your cuts, and you can actually duplicate a key this way. A good video to watch if you actually want to see the full way of doing it, go check out Albert LaBelle on YouTube. He is a great guy, very, very knowledgeable guy. And he did a great video on actually duplicating keys using the Lishi key cutter. So, as I said, I put this in as an emergency key cutting set just in case I need it. Mainly for wafer locks and stuff like that, so I don't have to cart around my big key duplicator machine just to, copy someone's wafer key. So, as I said, I put the vice grips in there, a mini set, just to help duplicate the keys. Got the key cutters themselves. Got the wire brush just to be on the safe side, and at the moment I've got a couple of the most common keys that I would come across if I need to do them for a friend, duplicate a key, something like that. So I've got, WC2s, I've got a couple of LW4s, LW5s, TE2s in here. The alloy ones work a little bit better, I have to admit. They're not high quality keys, those ultralights. They're not a very high quality key, but they work a little bit easier because they're softer with a key cutter to do an emergency key if need be. And also got a couple of the LF24s, which are the most common ones I see on sliding doors and the fly-wire doors, the security doors with wafer locks on them. So carrying them around just to be on the safe side. A couple of spare keys in here. And also the ones that I just ordered in from Dr. Lock for work. Because our paper towel dispenser bins, keys keep disappearing on them. We cannot find the keys and we got to replace it. We can't open it, got no key. So I'm going to cut a spare one for my area and show the maintenance guy about these and show him how they work and everything. I've already spoken to him, showed him I've got it, so wait for the keys to come in and we'll see how it goes. So anyway, there we go, Lishi key cutter. Have a look around. There's all different prices in all different places. So try them around and find a bloody good deal. I can't believe I got these for $35. For that price, you're laughing. They're actually quite heavy. They're built very, very well. And as you can see, this is the original Lishi key cutter. So, do I recommend this? Yes. Is it, the be or end all key cutting machine? No. I'm still going to be using my machines a lot more than this, but for an emergency or wafer locks or something like that, if you're on the go, you can use these with impressioning and all that, quickly cut the code away for key for something. This is a bloody good tool to actually have on hand. And for an emergency, anything that you need to be able to cut a key quickly, semi-reliably, this is a good bloody tool to have on hand. So anyway, let us know in the comments down below. What do you think? Do you have one of these? Have you used one? It's, everyone has their own opinions on these, whether they're good, they're bad, they work, they don't work. So let us know down in the comments below what you think. Let me know if you just want to actually see me actually duplicate a key fully with this, and I will do a quick video showing the method and how to actually duplicate a key with it. If not, go check out Albert LaBelle's. And anyway, as always follow the code to keep Locksport legal. You know it, don't do anything bloody stupid. Don't forget to come and join us on Discord, the Extraordinary League of Pickers. The link's in the description down below. Don't forget, if you're looking for great equipment at very affordable and competitive prices, don't forget to check out locksmithtoolbox.com. Great Australian company, and as you know, that's where I get most of my lockpicking equipment from. Don't forget, if you want to get your hands on some Doubt merch, like the hoodie that I'm wearing right now, you can get that at Teespring. There's a link down in the description down below as well. And if you want to get in contact with me, contact me through any of the social medias. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Or you can send me an email, darkartslockpicking@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you. And if you like what you see, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Really do bloody appreciate it. And until next time, cheers, guys. I'm going to have some fun cutting some keys with this at work. And, have a good one.